6-0 on the road, just like I predicted. Not.
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, here we go, everybody. A little post-game edition, a Sunday edition of Locked On Lions right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Matt Derry with you. Lions win again. You know, the Lions won again, 24-6. They go into the 3-1-7 Circle City of Indianapolis, knock off the Colts in what was kind of a weird game, kind of sloppy, kind of boring at times, kind of just plotting. But hey, look, Lions took care of the business when they had the ball, especially in the first half. They scored touchdowns. The Colts had the ball. They settled for field goals. Second half, Lions defense holds the Colts to nothing, shuts them out, wins 24-6. We welcome you in. Thanks for making us your first listen, checking us out wherever you get your podcasts here on a Sunday, November 24th and a Monday, November the 25th. And of course, we thank our everydayers and shout out those of you that watch and listen daily on the program. We got a couple of new regulars. I was in Grand Rapids over the weekend at this enormous wine event, which was a lot of fun with the missus, and ran into some huge Lions fans who are watching today. That includes Jessica, Jody G, and also the legendary, the top teacher in the country, Katie Smith from Kentwood. You know who you are. Katie loves her Lions. She's a gigantic Calvin Johnson fan. So great to meet those ladies this weekend in Grand Rapids. All right, Lions take care of business today. We're going to hand out game balls. We're going to talk about the defense. How about the injuries that just kept piling up throughout the game? We'll talk about Kendall Vildor or Kendall, Jonathan Vilma. Please, bro, get yourself a pronunciation guide, man, for the game. I saw her later in the week. I saw that Jonathan Vilma was on the call, and I texted my man Nathan, and I said, Vilma for 3 hours. This is why it's so great that the Lions are really good now, because we don't have to have Kenny Albert and Jonathan Vilma on these calls. Oh, my God. How about the time when Khalil Dorsey was out there, and Vilma looked at number 30 on the Colts roster, didn't know who Dorsey was. Like, dude, come on, man. Kendall. Kept calling him Kendall. He mispronounced his name like 3 times. But anyway, Kendall Vildor is terrible. And the Lions need to get Carlton Davis and Terrion Arnold healthy quickly. But it didn't really matter today. Lions win 24-6. First of all, shout out to the Lion fans. And I said this throughout the week. As you know, I have ties to Indianapolis. I was there many, many times over many, many years. Personal stuff, but regardless, that's a good stadium. Those are good fans, but I just knew. Lion fans, you guys were going to invade that town. You can't get enough of your team. You got to be there. You got to be screaming, let's go Lions. You got to be screaming for Jared Goff. And that's what you did. First possession of the game for the Colts on third down, and the Lion fans were louder than the Colts fans. The Lions are 6-0 on the road, folks. 6-0. Remember when Dan Campbell took over in his first 12 road games, he went 0-11-1? Yeah, that happened. And it's an amazing turnaround. The team's 10-1. They've won 9 in a row for the first time since 1934. For the first time ever, the Detroit Lions have back-to-back 10-win seasons. It's never happened. Ever. David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, both scoring touchdowns today. 2 for Jahmyr, 1 for Montgomery. That means both now have been in the end zone this season, each 10 times. Last year, they did the same thing. This is the first time in NFL history that a pair of running backs in back-to-back years have scored 10 or more touchdowns. Again, it's never happened before. The Lions are putting up record-breaking performances. 10 straight quarters. The Lions defense, led by future head coach Aaron Glenn. Heck, Gaines Media poster boy Alex Anzalone, he was tweeting out today, who's Aaron Glenn going to be hired by as a head coach? 10 straight quarters without allowing a touchdown. That's pretty darn good defense. Very good defense. So the Lions are rolling. And today against a decent Colts team. And by the way, I like the Colts uniforms. I know there were some that didn't like the black helmets. I thought they were pretty cool. but that's not a good Colts team. How many good teams are there in the NFL? Seriously. We know the Lions are good. How many good teams are there around the league? But the Lions have got to turn this thing around quickly and get ready for a game on Thursday against the Bears. Bears again today, down 11 with a minute and a half to go. They scored 11 points to tie it. Touchdown, onside kick, field goal. Go to overtime, get the ball, win the toss, have to punt. Vikings come down the field. TJ Hawkinson, there was a former buddy of mine, not former buddy, but buddy of mine and former colleague of mine at the ticket. The great Mike Sullivan used to refer to him as Big Hawk with a big catch. And the Vikings win it on a John Parker Romo 29-yard field goal. Yes, John Parker Romo, part of the kicker list from 2023. Ooh-wee. All right, Lions win 24-6. Let's start with the defense. That's where I want to go first. Physical. I'm going to give them a game ball, but I'm telling you right now, today, Aleem McNeil was dominant. He was destroying everybody across that Colts defensive line. Right tackle Braden Smith, left guard Quentin Nelson. It didn't matter who he was going up against. And I know some of the, Vilma and some of the others, the Colts have 3 rookies on their offensive line. I don't care. Who cares? Aleem McNeil was a game wrecker today. DJ Reader was getting in there, played really well. Levi Onwuzurike nearly had a safety on Anthony Richardson. That defensive line today by your Detroit Lions, Darius Smith, all of them, Pascal, they were phenomenal. And that's where you win. We could talk about St. Brown and Gibbs and Montgomery, and they're all great. They're all great. But you wreck a game like that. You take a quarterback that is very inexperienced. He's 19, 20 years old, Anthony Richardson. He's playing really his first full season this year. He's already been benched. He's been injured. They rattled him today. The Colts offensive line was Charmin, absolute Charmin, because of the way McNeil, that scheme, everything. It was an awesome performance. Absolutely awesome performance. I'll get all the numbers in a second, but I wanted to just point out how good this defense was today. Now, again, credit also has to go to Shane Steichen, the Colts head coach and play caller. And yes, their offensive coordinator, the legendary Jim Bob Cooter. I don't know what Indianapolis is doing offensively. You've got a quarterback that can really run. He's big. He's strong. He was running over Lions players on the first drive of the game. First drive of the game, the Colts get the ball, and they look good. They were moving down the field. They were creative. They were causing problems for the Lions. They were running quarterback draws, quarterback counters. Lions had no answer. But it was almost like Steichen scripted the first 10 plays and went, oh, the rest, I don't know what we're going to do. Because they totally went away from it. You got a guy that can move. And I'm not turning this into Lockdown Colts. Don't worry. But you got a guy that can move like that. And he was standing in the pocket and was a sitting duck against that Lions pressure all day. So I liked how the Lions played today with help from the Colts, who, by the way, every single time they had a good play, it got called back due to a penalty. Colts had double the amount of Lions penalties today. And one of the Lions penalties was some idiotic call on Jahmyr Gibbs, where Jahmyr was trash talking on his way into the end zone, which I didn't like, but I'm not going to get myself in any more trouble with you, the listeners. I'm no fun. I'm old and I don't like fun. So whatever. But the Lions had to kick a 48-yard extra point. It doesn't matter because we got Jake Bates, baby. But Gibbs was yapping, got called for a penalty. But other than that, if you take that penalty away, Lions committed 4 penalties today. Colts committed 10. You commit 10 penalties in a game, you're going to lose. The Lions don't make mistakes. You watch Jahmyr Gibbs break off a big run. You watch Goff pitch and catch with J-Mo for 20 yards. Amon-Ra St. Brown, the screen to Brock Wright. It was a Brock party today for one play. Notice, doesn't say flag in yellow on your screen because the Lions play clean football. They play clean ball, man. And I got the win today, 24-6, and what was a fun game down in Indianapolis today. So many Lions fans down there, and the Lions delivered for them to win their 10th game of the season. They're off to a 10-1 start. Bears, who have lost now 5 in a row, come to Ford Field on Thursday, 12:30 on CBS. If there is anybody hating on the Lions this week, oh, I'm tired of watching the Lions on Thanksgiving. Yeah, you get to watch the Giants and the Cowboys after that. I don't want to hear it. Lions are awesome. I don't want to hear it. We'll get into the offense a little bit. We'll talk about the injuries. Dan Campbell had some updates on all of the guys that got hurt. 3 big ones, really, that left the game. Decker came back, but Carlton Davis, David Montgomery, and Khalif Raymond. We'll get into all of that coming up next right here on a Sunday edition of Locked On Lions. Detroit 24, Indy no place 6. And Locked On Lions brought to you by our friends at Hillsdale College. Time is our most precious commodity, so don't waste it scrolling through the same mind-numbing content for hours and hours. How can you spend it wisely to improve yourself? I got the answer for you. Our sponsor, Hillsdale College. Hillsdale is offering more than 40 free, that's right, free online courses, including Constitution 101, the meaning and history of the Constitution, Introduction to Free Market Economics, The Great American Story, A Land of Hope, The Rise and Fall of the Roman Republic, and a brand new documentary-style course on Marxism, socialism, and communism. All of Hillsdale's courses are self-paced, so you can start whenever and tune in wherever. Plus, you can go deeper with readings, quizzes, discussions, or just enjoy the lectures. Here's what we need you to do. Go right now to hillsdale.edu/lockedon to enroll. There's no cost, and it's easy to get started. That's hillsdale.edu/lockedon to register. hillsdale.edu/lockedon. I want to thank many of you, the listeners and viewers. Really nice comments, whether it was on social media, whether it was on my YouTube page on Friday when in the comments section, I interviewed my son, Jace. And Jace, a big Colts fan. As I said, he went to Indiana. The poor kid was down in Columbus this weekend watching his alma mater get curb stomped by the Bucks, by the Buckeyes. He didn't end up going to Lucas Oil today, but Jace came on to just join me for 5 minutes at the end of the Friday show to talk about the Colts. And many of you had a lot of nice things to say, and he appreciated it. I appreciate it. I love him so much. He did such a great job talking Colts with me on the show. So thank you for being so cool with the comments on my son. All right. Offensively today, you loved again what the Lions did by running the football. All right. Doesn't matter if the Colts are 23rd in the league against the run, or they're playing a team that is better against the run, or a top 5 team. The Lions always seem to establish. I love the identity of this football team, which is the offensive line just shoving people out of the way, and starting with David Montgomery, and then you bring in Jahmyr Gibbs. Today, because Montgomery injured his shoulder, Dan Campbell thinks he's going to be fine. Montgomery only ran for 37 yards, but he averaged 4.6 yards a carry, 8 carries, 37 yards, and a touchdown where he stayed on his feet, balancing act into the end zone. David Montgomery is amazing. All right. How the Bears let him walk, I'll never know. Jahmyr Gibbs then had to pick up the slack because Monty got hurt. Gibbs goes for 21 carries, 90 yards, averaged 4.3 a pop, and had 2 touchdowns today. Even Craig Reynolds came into the game late. Come on, Craig. And gave me a little 6-yard carry. Jared Goff today, 2 carries, 0 yards. But you know what the key is for Jared Goff? He stayed healthy. He slid, and he was safe. But you love the way the Lions established the run to start the football game. Play action pass again, kind of set things up. Lions trailed 3-0 early, but then second quarter, long drive, 9 plays, 60-yard drive, capped off by the Gibbs 1-yard touchdown run. Then later on, another 9-play, 70-yard drive in the second quarter, capped off by the David Montgomery 6-yard run. So Lions go into the locker room leading 14-6. Third quarter, 10-play drive, 79 yards. Jahmyr Gibbs, a 5-yard touchdown run. It starts and ends with the run game. And we consider and talk about Jared Goff being an MVP candidate, and he absolutely still is. I know today his numbers weren't gaudy per se, 26 out of 36, 269, no touchdowns, but a 93.4 passer rating. Jared Goff is having a great year, but didn't have to light up the scoreboard today against the Colts. Indianapolis's defense actually played pretty well. Stopped the Lions on a 4th and 1 play call, which was a brutal one. Some counter play with a deep handoff that got stuffed. I didn't like that call at all. But for the most part, Indy's defense didn't do a bad job against the Lions. But when you've got all these weapons, and I love the fact that they gave Sam Laporta a few more looks today. What did Sam finish with? 3 catches, 19 yards, but 6 targets today for Laporta. He just seemed a little bit off coming back from that shoulder injury. I'll tell you, both teams today struggled with down the field passes to tight ends. How many times did Indy tight ends drop passes or lose them in the sun or whatever it was? Very surprised about that today. But Lions offense, just solid. Took care of the football. No fumbles. Well, the one fumble by Goff, but it was recovered by Montgomery. No turnovers today. Meantime, receiving wise, Jamison Williams, 5 catches, 64 yards. St. Brown today, an actual target that he did not catch. I think it was a low throw. 6 catches, 62 yards. Tim Patrick had a good day today. Anytime this team needed a big third down conversion, it seemed like Tim Patrick was there. 4 catches, 55 yards. Montgomery, 3 catches out of the backfield, 36. Mentioned Brocktober, 2 catches for 24. And Sam Laporta, 3 catches for 19 yards. Gibbs also caught 3 balls as well today for 9 yards. But the offense today did not have to be spectacular for this team to shine. It did the little things. It did enough to win. And the Colts tried their damnedest to have longer drives, possess the football, but the Lions defense was too good. And anytime Indianapolis had any kind of momentum today, they stubbed their toe with penalties. Quentin Nelson, what happened to him? He was like the best left guard in the NFL for years. He got smoked today, all day by McNeil, then in a couple of big penalties. Seemed like every single time the Colts had a big play downfield, it came back due to a holding call or a procedure call. Whatever it was, the Lions played clean and the Colts did not. And the Lions outscored Indianapolis in the second half when it matters the most, 10-0. I don't know what I think about Anthony Richardson. He's young, he's raw, he needs time. I think that scheme for him is wrong. I do. 11 out of 28, 172. His accuracy is not great, but he was under duress all day. Wasn't sacked at all officially, but finished with a passer rating of 60.4. I know. Many of you will say, the Lions didn't have any sacks. I still liked the way the pressure was today. I still liked how aggressive they were in getting to the quarterback, in stopping the run. And the Lions just want it. They want every game. The Lions want to run it up. They want not run it up like badly, like they want to put everybody away. The Lions go on the road, doesn't matter where they go. All right. Indy, Houston, Dallas, we talked about it. The Lions just want it more than the other team. They've got a ton of talent. All right. The Lions are as talented as any team in the league, but they want it more. You watch on special teams, the way the Lions cover kicks, cover punts. You watch how they block. You watch how they tackle. It's awesome. This is how they win. They put forth great effort. They've got so much talent, and another great victory today for the Lions. Real fast on the injury front. Dan Campbell, this is according to Colton Pouncey, our buddy from theathletic.com, who was in Indianapolis today. Campbell on the injuries, quote, I feel okay about 3 of those guys. He was referring to Taylor Decker, who left the game and came back in. Carlton Davis, who was grabbing his knee, and he was riding a stationary bike on the sidelines for the remainder of the game. And David Montgomery, who left the game with a shoulder injury. The one injury that could mean more time is Khalif Raymond has a foot injury. So Amon-Ra St. Brown was back returning punts. Memo to Dave Phipp, Dan Campbell, and everybody on the Lions staff. Can we not have Amon-Ra St. Brown returning punts? I know he can do it. I know he's awesome. I just don't want Amon-Ra St. Brown returning punts. He doesn't fair catch one. He catches one and gets smashed. Like, can we keep Amon-Ra in mothballs on the sidelines until the offense gets on the field? I don't know how anybody else feels about that. Do we have any other punt returners on the team? Can we put Allen Robinson out there next week? I know he's 40 years old, but who cares? Can we put anybody else back there? Put Sione Vaki back there to return punts. Please, not Amon-Ra. Please. The other issue is, like I said before, Carlton Davis grabbing his knee. Terrion Arnold did not even make the trip today. The Lions designated him as out this morning and said he did not make the trip due to a hamstring injury. I don't know how long that's going to last for Terrion Arnold and if he's going to be out for a while, but I got news for you. Emmanuel Moseley was back today and was just playing special teams. They did not have him playing defense as he returned from a pec injury. I want to see Emmanuel Moseley on Thursday ahead of Kindle Vildor. Please and thank you. Kindle Vildor today was getting toasted left and right. And it looked like the NFC Championship game all over again. I'm sure he's a great veteran. I'm sure it's a nice glue guy to have on the team, maybe as your fifth cornerback. But today he started in place of Terrion Arnold, and he was god-awful. If the Colts don't drop passes, if Richardson doesn't misfire, if the Colts don't put both feet in bounds, I'll be very interested in seeing what PFF grades Kindle Vildor tomorrow, because he was abysmal today. The Lions have Khalil Dorsey. The Lions have Ennis Rakestraw, who's actually on injured reserve now, has a hamstring. And this was an issue. And credit Jeff Risdon from the Lions Wire, who said this on draft day. When the Lions took Rakestraw in the second round, he said, the one thing that concerns me is he was injured a lot in college. Well, he's been injured a lot this year. Now he's going to miss at least 4 games. So Lions probably need to figure out a little bit more help at cornerback if Davis and Arnold can't play on Thursday. Amik Robertson's been great in the slot. Khalil Dorsey finished the game. Lions have some other guys in the practice squad they can bring up. But if I see Kindle Vildor in the NFC Championship game, like playing a lot this year, I'm gonna lose my mind. All right, let's hand out some game balls. We will do that coming up next, right here on a Sunday edition of Locked On Lions. Detroit 24, Indianapolis 6. Lions improved to 10-1. Colts dropped to 5-7. And hey, everybody, Locked On Lions, of course, proudly brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. Tonight, the Rams in action tonight. Matthew Stafford. Come on, you want to put some money down on that game? Monday Night Football tomorrow with the Ravens and the Chargers, the Harbaugh Bowl. You can do all of that on FanDuel. When you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com, FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. All right, this is the portion of the program on Sundays where, you know what, you love it. We hand out game balls. I even had my man Turner Batdorf, one of our everydayers. He's texting me, here's my game balls. Turner's handing out game balls. I'm going to see Turner, Jody, and the Batdorf clan on December 5th when the Lions host the Packers. I will be at the game with them. I am their guest. I appreciate that. As always, it's become tradition now to take in a game with the Batdorf family down in Texas. They love their Lions. Great job by the fans today, as I mentioned before, making the trip down to Indy. I know my buddy James Meek, Big Game James, was down there. Craig Fellhandler and his crew. Avery, I saw, or not Avery. Oh, man. Come on. What's little Craig's son's name? Oh, my gosh. I'm a terrible friend. I'm completely drawing a blank. Oh, gosh. Aiden, my man Aiden Fellhandler was there today. That crew was down there. Great crowd on hand of Lions fans, and I love you all, man. I'm proud of all of you for going down there and bringing home a win. All right, game balls today. Let's do the business. First and foremost, Aleem McNeil gets a game ball. All right, he only registered 1 tackle today. It was a solo. That's it, and a quarterback hit. But I'm telling you, the stats don't tell the story. Aleem McNeil was everywhere today. He was fantastic and gets a game ball for me. Jake Bates gets a game ball. How about another 56-yard field goal from the former Michigan Panther? Jake Bates is now remains perfect on the year in field goals. 3 for 3 on extra points, kicked a 56-yarder today. And Kenny Albert and Vilma were like, oh, kicker jinx. Oh, okay. Bates says, here's your kicker jinx. Bang through a 56-yarder today. He gets a game ball. I'm giving a game ball to Jahmyr Gibbs. 2 touchdown runs, 21 carries, 90 yards, and just kept hitting the holes, man, and was phenomenal. I loved the way Jahmyr Gibbs played today and deserves a game ball. I'm also giving a game ball today to Kevin Zeitler. I don't know what the PFF grades are going to say tomorrow, but every single time the Lions ran right, I was watching Zeitler moving bodies. We never talk about him. We never mention him, but Kevin Zeitler is a damn good guard. Might end up making the Pro Bowl like he did last year when he was in Baltimore. He gets a game ball for me. He was tremendous today in just kind of setting the tone. Like I said, moving bodies, doing his thing. I thought he played a tremendous game today. So those are your game balls. By the way, it was interesting. When Taylor Decker went out today with, it looked like a leg injury, came back in the game. When Decker went out, the first play he missed, I don't think Dan Skipper was ready to go on the field because Michael Neese came in, the backup center. He played left guard, and Glasgow played left tackle. Then Skipper came in. Skipper played left tackle, and Glasgow went back to left guard. I wonder if someone will ask the coaches about that this week, but I thought that was certainly interesting. All right, we got a full week of Locked On Lions shows for you this week. We're likely going to do the crossover with Locked On Bears host Lauren Cox on Wednesday. I'm also bucking and working on trying to get on the Locked On NFC show, which I have not been on this week. So stay tuned for that. We cannot allow Peter Bukowski to represent our division anymore. Heck no. I kid, sort of. All right, that'll do it for our Sunday edition of Locked On Lions. Lions win again 24-6 over the Indianapolis Colts, taking care of the herd today to win their 9th straight game, longest win streak since 1934. We are back again tomorrow.